Hey there, YouTube world. This is my first review and several to come. I'm here in my man cave and we're going to start off with the Sig Sauer 1911 TACOPS. Let's get a good look at that. Now, the TACOPS only comes in black. It comes with Sig Sauer's type of G10 grip. It has serrations on the front strap and serrations on the back strap. It has a raised bump on the safety, and that is to ensure that when you grab the handle properly, the safety disengages. A lot of the other ones, they have flat. If you don't get a good grip, you don't disengage that safety. Now I'm going to do a safety check right now. You can see that there's no magazine in it. Take the safety off, and there is no round in the chamber. So we have a perfectly safe weapon. Now what I just did there, letting the slide go home, a lot of people say, oh, don't do that, you're going to damage your parts, blah blah blah. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. I've seen plenty of YouTube clips out there done by really reputable people just doing it hundreds and hundreds of times, and absolutely no damage occurs to their weapon. Now, this weapon, like I said, comes with nitron finish. It has a match grade barrel that has been totally polished from front to back. It has the aluminum trigger skeletonized along with the skeletonized hammer. And as with all Sig Sauers especially, the trigger is very crisp. Very crisp. There's no shake, there's no rattle. The let off from the trigger is very minimal. Now with the TACOPS, you get your rail on the front. A lot of people rave about, you know, putting on lasers and lights and all kinds of other things. I've served 24 years in the military, most of that in special operations, and unless you're going into a firefight at night, there's no need for a light. As far as a laser, if you are a proficient shooter, there is absolutely no need for a laser. If you're not a proficient shooter, go ahead, put the laser on there. Another feature with the TACOPS is you have very bright tritium on your sights. And that comes in handy, especially if you're going to be using it at night. For me, I keep my weapon in my nightstand, so if I had an intruder at night, that would come in very handy. Other than that, like I said, unless you plan on engaging someone at night, it's not much use. But for home defense at night, I can see it coming in handy. Another feature is your magazine well. It is beveled, and that is so you can do quick magazine changes without having to look at your weapon. If you pull your magazine out properly and you have your finger riding up the side, then you're going to be able to locate that magazine well very easily. And that is the purpose for having that beveling. A lot of people are like, oh, the 45, it's overkill. Well, this is a full-size 45. It's got the 5-inch barrel. The only upgrade I did was the spring. Sig Sauer comes with a flat 16-pound, 16.5-pound spring. I upgraded to the Wilson Combat 18-pound, and it really made a world of difference. Not so much as chambering the following rounds, but it was quicker to chamber the following rounds. I have not had any problems with this weapon. Some people say that SIGs, their tolerances are too tight. Well, when I shake my gun, there's no rattle. There's no pieces flying around inside getting loose. There's nothing in there beating itself every time the slide goes front and rear. So this is a very, very solid weapon, and I would recommend it to anybody. Another problem that people say with 1911s is it's difficult to take apart. Well, it's not difficult. It just requires a couple more steps than a Glock. To me, a Glock is a toy. Half of the weapon is made out of polymer, half of it made out of alloys, and it feels like a toy. This weapon is stainless steel. This weapon, if you run out of rounds, you can beat your enemy to death with this weapon. Don't think you're going to be able to do it with a Glock. You might, but you're going to wear yourself out in the process. Now, as far as the takedown of this weapon, just push in your bushing right there. I'm sorry, not your bushing, you're pushing your spring. You take your bushing, you turn it around to the other side, and it lifts right out. Once you've got that, I like to pull the hammer to the rear. Okay, just wants to be hard. Get to right here, push this out, and it slides apart. Lower receiver, upper receiver, barrel slides out. Like I said, this is a match grade barrel. The only part that's not polished is below your swivel here. The rest of it, when I first got it, looked beautiful. But this weapon has seen about 1,000 rounds. 1,000 rounds without failure, I might add. Slide your barrel in. You might wonder what this is right here. This is actually a little piece of rubber, and it really saves some wear and tear on your weapon. When I was given it, I was like, I really don't think I need that. But started using it, and it turned out to be a good idea. When you put your spring in there, now on the Sig original spring, it's a flat spring, doesn't matter which way you put it in. In the other spring, where the spring joins at the end, that's where you want to put it in, because that is going to be the smaller end of the spring. So once you have that, you can go ahead and put your bushing back in if you want. A lot of people do that as soon as they put the barrel in. There's no really a preferred time to do that. Slide it back together. Your holes will line up for you to put your piece back in there. Now, like I said, this is not a Glock. This weapon was made over 100 years ago. There have been some design changes that a lot of manufacturers have done to make reassembly a little easier. Some of them good, some of them bad. Right now, this just wants to be a pain in the butt. Normally it doesn't take this long. Okay, got that in there. That snaps in. Slide comes forward. You want to hold on to this because it will shoot out. And the stronger your spring, the harder it is to do that. Safety check. Fire. Beautiful. Now, when I bought this TACOPS, it came with 4 magazines. That's right, 4. Now, anybody out there that collects magazines know they're not cheap. They're not getting any cheaper. I prefer 10 round magazines. It came with these 4 magazines. For shooting, I went and got the Phobos. Works really well. Holds magazines nicely tight. Not too tight. You don't want them too tight. You want to be able to slide out in and out really easy during competition. They work out really well. Like I said, I prefer my 10 rounders, but for this review we're sticking with the magazines that came with the weapon. Now, some people are out there saying, oh, the 45, why do you need such a big round? Well, there it is right there. And like I said, 24 years in the military, I've always carried a 45. It has never let me down. Highly reliable. In this weapon at least, I have not had any jams with factory loads. I have had some issues with hand loads, which I do a lot of, and I'm still working that out. Like I said, Sig makes their weapons to a very tight tolerance. So I might just have to start making my hand loads as pretty close to factory loads as possible to eliminate that problem. Once again, this is the Sig Sauer 1911 TACOPS review, and I cannot say anything bad about this weapon except for the recoil spring, which you can change out easily. There's lots of companies out there that carry the recoil spring. I would say go with Wilson Combat. They are a well-known name, but that's just me. I don't own any stock in the company, so it doesn't give me any extra money to say that. If you should choose so, and you don't like the beveled magazine well, you can take that off with an Allen wrench. Personally, I like it. Makes it for quicker changes. I like these sights. They're Novak style. They are patented, and they have the Sig Sauer name on them. So I'm assuming that they are proprietary to Sig Sauer. Once again, this is an excellent weapon. A lot of people, when they do this, they'll either heat this down so that their finger can get to the magazine release a little bit quicker. Really, when I go to change, I always swing my hand over a little bit. I hit that